Hey everybody, welcome to Manus Dry Fire Live Fire Mondays. I'm Brian Hill with the Complete Combatant and you're on Active Self-Protection Extra. We're going to talk a little bit about terminology and language and why language is like a virus because it infects us with ideas. The problem with language also is it means different things to different folks.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video.
Word meaning can be broad and different interpretations of that can be very, very odd sometimes. Something that's gone on a long time is that most people will teach, draw, and fire 2 shots from the holster, and then we had some names around that some of them are good, some of them are bad, but they may not be really describing what's happening. So I'm not changing the names, but the way I describe them in class may be a little different. It may resonate with you. This is the discussion about double taps, controlled pairs, and hammered pairs. Okay, 2 of those are pretty good. One of those has really no business either in the tactical or the competitive world, and that would be the double tap. The idea that you only see a picture of your sights and then you press the trigger sight, then you press the trigger twice is, I think, frankly, irresponsible at best. Okay? You should continue watching the thing you're doing. That's the way athletes work. You don't look at something once and then just hope it all works out and press the trigger twice. And that's what a double tap was. I've seen a sight picture, therefore everything's good. Press it as fast as you can. Sometimes you connect, sometimes you don't. We see it a lot in a fight game. Guys will close his eyes, throw 2 really hard punches. Very seldom do they connect, you know. Good fighters in the UFC's high 30% is a lot of connection with punches, so they're missing quite frequently anyway. But it's people who can track motion. Imagine a hitter in the box trying to hit on a pitcher that's got a 90-plus fastball. He's predicting a little bit more what's happening, and he has to pay attention. He doesn't look at the picture, close his eyes, and swing as hard as he can. And that's what double taps are. So really no room for us for those. All right, controlled pairs. I like to call these reactive pairs. It means I'm going to clean up the sight movie just a little bit. All right, maybe I have a very small target or there's very high stakes. There's something around it I can't hit. So every time I shoot, as the sight comes down, I'll clean it up a little bit during the movie process, like Gabe White calls it, and then I'll fire off another shot. Okay, so I'm cleaning it up the whole time. The cost of that for most people is a quarter second, somewhere in that range, 0.2 to 0.3 to clean it up a little bit more. Then the final one is hammered pairs. That's where we really grip and we watch the sights move up and down as we fire. So I like to call these predictive pairs. Somewhere along the line of this target, the sight's going to be moving up and down from 12 to 6, and as long as it's inside that, I'm going to press it. Press the trigger because I predicted where it's going to be when I press the trigger. So it lifted as it comes back down and there's a sight. I prep the trigger and fire so it's in there. It lifts again, comes back down. So I'm staying truly and really involved with it. So that's great help when you're firing really fast, like a bill drill, or you've got somebody very close to you, you got to fire really quickly. You want to watch that dot stay in there. It relies a lot on grip strength in the support hand. So I'm going to shoot a couple of these. As you guys can see, the target's empty. Okay, I'll turn it this way so you can see me in the gun. Okay, now I'm going to do a double tap. I don't do double taps. Okay, as you can tell, I have a bit of repulsive feeling towards the double tap itself. All right, I don't want to fire something where I stop looking at it. Why not just continue to look at it? We're incredible processors. All right, we pay attention. That's why we keep buying better and better TVs because we want more information. We got to figure out what's really important to us. The only thing that's important is that I feel the grip and then I see the sights in this. All right, but with double tap, I'm going to really aim hard and I'm going to press the trigger twice. Okay. All right, so this would be a double tap. Everything's aimed in, okay, and I go. Okay, it's not real bad because I have a very good grip on the gun. All right. But I stop paying attention when I press the trigger, and that's really the danger in this, okay, is to stop paying attention while we're firing a gun. We want to continue to watch the thing that's going to provide us information whether we're going to be able to call our shots or not. That means, did I hit the target? Now I'm going to do a reactive pair, so I clean them up. So this is your controlled pair. As it comes back down, I'm going to try to clean it up and make a really good shot. Okay, now the difference between those is that's about this far apart from each other because I took that extra quarter second to clean up the sight. All right, you'd think, well, why don't I do that all the time? Because I may not have that time. Or if I don't have that time, is it truly necessary? If the dot's going to be where I know it is and I see it moving in that direction, then I can predict that it's going to be there. So the hammered pair becomes the predictive pair for me. As long as the dot's in my window and the target's allowing its motion, its oscillation, I can press the trigger. So this would be the hammered pair, or predictive pair as I call them. So I'm really going to work on my support hand on this and relax my shooting hand. Okay, now those are a lot further apart, but they're acceptable inside of the target. So let's go look at the target real quick. So this was the first ones, okay, not horrible. That's that double tap where I just kind of looked away and did it, but I lost information. Sometimes I connect, sometimes I don't, all right? This pair right here was the controlled pair that became reactive, so I cleaned them up. And this was the predictive pair of number 3 that was here and here, which is inside the target zone for me. So the target's going to tell me which way I want to shoot, all right? This is a great evaluator of grip. If you have a really good grip on this, your sights are going to stay in front of you anyway, and you can see them. So you only have really 2 choices. Does it need a little cleaning up, or is it good to go? All right, if you start thinking about that, life gets a lot easier. Then there's no cadence, there's no number, there's no time. It's just, is that good enough for my purposes? And how will you know? Because you know the size of the target. So if you have a very large target, you have more room for error. So let that one fade a little bit higher. Now I can probably really hold those in the center when I'm shooting if I want to, but it was still acceptable inside of it. All right, so from here to here was acceptable on that target. Okay, I hope that helps you guys a lot. I'm not saying change the terminology. I am saying stop doing double taps. The idea of shooting and only seeing one sight picture is not a good idea. Okay, you're there anyway, you're watching, why don't you pay attention? A reactive or controlled pair is very good, depending on the size of the target, and you need to learn to shoot fast in case the real world requires that of you, and in a predictive sight movie would be even better. Okay, so there's your pairs drill. I would also do 3s and 4s and 5s so that you can really practice and not get stuck with just 2, because that can create really bad habits. And a lot of us have been working on our draw speed, so if we just draw and fire 1 shot, what I see is a tremendous slowdown on the 2nd shot. So avoid those dry fire habits. Now the problem with this is you either have to have a SIRT gun that's got an actuating trigger, you can have a VP9 like I have that moves anyway after it's been fired, or you can put a paster in your breech for your Glock face, so your breech face for your Glock, so that you can still move the trigger. You need to practice moving the trigger the whole time. All right guys, I hope that helps you out a lot. This is Active Self-Protection Extra. Make sure you get on here and subscribe and like. On your Mantis, watch your recoil meter. All right, so that's what's going to track this for it, and as it tracks, what we're trying to do is eliminate as much oscillation as we can and see the actual thing where we're really trying to control it and narrow those and being very precise. Now, you perfection first people, be very careful, because that's the trap for you. You'll always be seeking rounds on top of each other where it may not be necessary for what you're doing. And then for really fast people, you have to be careful that you just don't fire without seeing. That's what I see the big thing with y'all is you just don't pay attention. And so you can really get caught up in the double taps. All right, excuse me. Okay, but I hope that'll help you out guys a lot. The recoil meter is really the place to look at this and see how your grips are working. It's a great measurement of your grip overall. All right, I'm Brian Hill with The Complete Combatant, and as always, measure, refine, and perform.